The Find X2 Pro. You might remember the original Find X from 2018. A pretty sweet looking phone with a whole top half motored up to reveal the cameras. It was pretty phenomenal right up until the end of the durability test, when, well, it didn't exactly make it. Today we're going to see if this vegan leather covered Oppo Find X2 Pro holds up any better than its predecessor. Inside the box we get the massive 65-watt flash charger, which is a foreshadow of the power this thing contains. This Find X2 Pro is the exact opposite of a budget phone. Let's get started. The Find X2 Pro is a premium smartphone, meaning both premium specs and premium price. It's competing with the high-end Samsungs and flagship iPhones, and costs well over $1,000. It even comes with a screen protector. This year, since nothing's motorized, the Oppo Find X2 Pro does have more room inside for the premium specs. I'm not sure why companies are naming their smartphones after math equations. I thought I was all done with that after graduating school. The Find X2 Pro, with its Eye of Sauron looking background, scratches at a level 6 with deeper grooves at a level 7. The front-facing 32-megapixel selfie camera is a hole punch style underneath the front glass, and the super thin earpiece grill up at the top is made from plastic, but it's pretty secure and won't be falling out on its own. The real selling point of the Find X2 Pro is the screen, but we'll get to that in a second. The frame is made from metal. You can see the silver glinting underneath the gold paint, along with the metal power button, which has a little green inlaid strip down the center. The top of the phone is uneventful. Just the normal longitudinal folder groove with a little hole for one of the 3 onboard microphones. The left side of the phone is also metal, and has individual volume buttons instead of a rocker. At the bottom of the Find X2 we find a USB-C port, along with the metal SIM card tray, which has room for 2 SIM cards, and its own IP68 water-resistant red rubber ring around the opening. All these things are pretty standard so far. Oppo is definitely playing it more safe this year. One unique thing this phone does have, though, is the back panel. It's not the normal glass or metal that we always see, it's leather. Vegan leather. Vegan leather is a fancy way of saying that it's not actually leather, it's just a polyurethane imitation of leather. But it's still pretty high quality stuff. Tesla even uses vegan leather for the seats in their vehicles. Vegan leather is not as scratch resistant as glass is though, and it does not enjoy coming into contact with sharp objects. You can see the orangey pink coloring start to scratch off with my razor blade, exposing the white plasticky stuff underneath. And I don't think a dbrand skin would stick to it very well either. But it still does look rather peachy, don't you think? If the back panel comes into contact with normal everyday objects that don't have super sharp points, it actually holds up very well. My keys leave virtually no damage on the back. And the metal plug from the charging brick doesn't cause any game-changing abrasions either, which is good. Most objects commonly found in pockets, like this torn-down Taptic linear actuator, won't cause permanent damage to the leather unless they are sharp or abrasive. The Find X2 Pro comes with 3 cameras on the back. The top camera is one of those cool side-mounted 13-megapixel 5x optical zoom periscope cameras. Then we have the 48-megapixel ultra-wide camera in the center, and the 48-megapixel normal camera down at the bottom, all protected with a scratch-resistant glass lens, and a dual-tone plastic flash diffuser down at the bottom. Like most flagships these days, well, I guess most smartphones in general nowadays, there is an underscreen fingerprint scanner. We know this one is an optical scanner since we can see the display light up to illuminate my fingerprint as it scans. Once my fingerprint is set, I can add an over-the-top amount of level 7 deeper grooves to the glass, and we find that it's still able to read my fingerprint every single time, even through all that carnage. Thumbs up for that. Now, the main selling point of this phone, to me anyway, is the screen. Almost every smartphone in existence right now only displays 17 million colors, which is all fine and very normal. But this guy, just like the OnePlus 8 Pro, can display over 1 billion colors. And it doesn't stop there either. It's also a 3K resolution, 1440p with a 120Hz refresh rate, which is better than most gaming phones. which now that I think about it, it's pretty much the exact same specs as the OnePlus 8 Pro. But the OnePlus 8 Pro is hundreds of dollars cheaper than the Find X2 Pro. So I guess if you really need to buy a 10-bit phone that's named after a math equation, OnePlus is currently the cheaper option. The AMOLED display does last about 40 seconds under the heat from my lighter, which is rather convenient since that's about how long it took me to explain the color thing. Nice. Now for the bin test. If you remember from the original Find X durability test, that phone just never stopped bending. There was no structural rigidity due to the independent mechanical halves. This time around though, the solid metal frame does have a minor flex right around the power button area, but there's no catastrophic damage or permanent kinks to the frame. And most importantly, no cracks to the front glass. Oppo is playing it extremely safe this year. Even with that vegan leather and the 10-bit screen though, I have a feeling this phone is just going to blend in with the rest of the rectangles out there pretty quick. With Oppo being one of the largest smartphone manufacturers in the world, I was kind of hoping they would keep this Find X lineup of phones filled with crazy unique designs, but that doesn't appear to be the case. I'll keep my fingers crossed for the Find X3 next year. I do have a question for you though. If the specs were identical, would you rather own a unique, mechanically complex smartphone, like the Find X, or stay safe with a normal rectangle, like the Find X2 Pro? Let me know down in the comments. Come hang out with me on Instagram and Twitter, and thanks a ton for watching. I'll see you around.